today, as we are heading into the kind of second week of 2025, we are still working on the 2024 to 2025 gear shift. And today I'm going to answer some questions. Please feel free to message me questions or you can ask me in the comments. I am doing this on YouTube and also posting it to LinkedIn, so you can, on either platform, you can get a hold of me and ask some questions for clarification. So there is a little bit of confusion or sticking blocks. So we have talked about when you're feeling overwhelmed, sometimes you think you're procrastinating or that you just don't understand something and you're actually just kind of an overwhelm. I was just talking to somebody now who just feels like there's so much going on and that there's so much they want to do in order to plan and get things moving, and that they're in a fog and they can't pick a single thought out. So I always recommend writing things down. His response was, "There's nothing to write down." It's there. It's a lot sometimes, especially if you're not used to doing it. If you're not used to listening to yourself, if you're not used to being proactive in how you do things, you're going to get overwhelmed. So I want to answer a few questions to kind of clarify certain things. So as you are working on your aspirational vision statement, this is now going to take back burner to the 3 goals for 3 months, and is also figuring out the tasks for each of those goals. But if you're still working on it, and that's fine, and like I said, it is a work in progress, you're technically going to be always working on it because you're always learning more about the world around you, about yourself. And so you're just always going to be fine tuning it. But sometimes getting the first one out is the hardest. So if you're structuring it on the be, do, have model that we've spoken about, I just had a little bit of an epiphany. And so think about be, the person that you aspire to be, adjectives. So think of adjectives. People that you look at that you really admire and you wish you could be more like them, adjectives, right? Maybe some adverbs, adjectives. And so that is the be. And then when you're looking at thinking about the do would be verbs, right? Because you're doing it, it's action. So, make a list of verbs, that things that you wish you could be doing more of, and the things that you don't want to do. That's an important aspect of it too, because sometimes it's easier to know and understand what you don't want to do than it is to figure out what you do want to do. So we want to have a running of those two lists as you're working through building this vision statement. And then the have part would be the nouns. What do you want to have? Do you want to have financial security? Do you want to have admiration? Do you want to have impact? What do you want to have? So I hope that helps clarify that. And you can start off with bullets. Your aspirational vision statement, if you're not comfortable writing out the sentences, then just write bullets and keep that going. And we'll keep working and massaging that and start building sentences and deconstructing sentences, or, don't worry about the grammar. Don't worry about the vocabulary. Use simple words, use big words, whatever you're comfortable with. Just kind of make that bullets. But I really want to make sure that you can put that to rest. Don't fixate on that. And let's move back and start really thinking about your 3 goals. So we're already on January 6th, and it's not too late, but what are your 3 goals? So if you're used to picking out a word for the year, that's also really great. That might be really group that with your aspirational vision statement. If you are comfortable with New Year's resolutions, you can think of it in that way, picking out your goals. But the thing is, normally you'll do like a New Year's resolution. I want to write a book, or I plan on getting rid of debt, or I want to get a promotion. This is the year I strike out on my own business. Those are, resolutions are big. So there's that. So now we want to break it down. So if you, let's say, want to write a book, what is something you would, for the first 3 months, you could devote in that aspect? So maybe it is figuring out, finding a writing club, kind of getting yourself organized. So maybe for the first goal of first quarter of 2025 is to get organized on writing a book, or start the outline of, start the process of writing a book. Second goal, might be something with work. You want to get a promotion, so start researching what you need in order to get a promotion. And the third thing might be some personal care. Maybe you want to lose some weight, or you want to get in better shape, or I've decided, I think I've decided, I'm pretty sure I haven't written it down yet, is I'm gonna go for, I do Taekwondo. I'm a third degree black belt. So I think this year I'm actually going to go for my fourth degree. So if Karen, if you're listening to this, don't hold me to it. But no, I'm pretty sure I want to do that. It's a big commitment. Um, yeah, and yeah. So in that case, what I need to do is I need to start getting back in better shape. I need to start remembering the older curriculum because I've got to do all those forms and all of those katas and that kind of thing. So first quarter is about getting into shape and brushing up on the stuff I should have retained in my mind. So getting back up to speed. So those are the things. So those are like three goals that you would have. Once you've figured out like kind of the three things that you're going to get done in the first quarter, they're going to help you with your larger goals, then you do the tasks. So if you're going to write a book, maybe the three tasks are find a writing group or writing class that you want to be part of, figuring out the genre of your book. So doing research on the genre and maybe start an outline and or maybe start character development. So when you're researching when you're researching the writing groups, you might also, or maybe you want to research what you want to, how you want to write it. Like, the technical, are you going to write it on index cards and do like the big index ways of doing it? Or are you going to get a program that helps you write it and keep you organized? I use Scrivener. Stuff like that. So, those would be your three tasks. And then when you're breaking down your action steps, it would be, if you're going to be looking for a writing group, today you're going to, to spend 30 minutes. Remember the 20 to 30 minutes action steps. You're going to spend 30 minutes researching different writing groups. You're going to, another action step would be you're going to talk to some people that are writers and see where they belong to. You're going to research and go on publisher sites and see who they recommend or what they have available. Because now a lot of publishers are also offering writing groups that you can be part of. So they have like a subscription program. So they kind of help you write your outline, your book or your outline or in the process so that either you can apply to publish with them or you can apply to self-publish through their secondary, whatever. They have different ways of doing it. So you would just want to start getting better versed in what your publishing options are and when getting into a writing group. And then the second one, which is figuring out your genre and outlining. So if you have an idea of the book you want to write, so action step would be research different types of books, writing down all of your, another action step would be writing down, I'm going to write down the different types of books or titles that I have in my head that I want to write. Another action step would to kind of do some research to see which ones are doing better in whatever you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to write a book, like a novel kind of book, figure out what's doing well there. If you want to do a self-help kind of book, figure out what's doing well there and start getting yourself oriented. And maybe, the third thing is if you're doing a novel or something, you actually start writing, get into the discipline. So the third task is to get into the discipline of writing. So an action step would be to write 30 minutes a day. And then the second one, might be to journal or to start character development if you want to start there. And so the other thing with action steps, there are certain action steps, like some of your tasks underneath are going to have like huge lists of action steps because there's a lot of stuff going on. And like, remember I said, you might end up adding things or taking things off depending on how those go. Some of them are going to have like 3 action steps, right? If you want to work out more, you got to go to the gym is an action step that you're going to be doing 2 or 3 times a week or 4 times a week. If you want to run a marathon, you're prepping to run a marathon, you're going to have to run. And, there might be 3 things that you're doing to prepare for the marathon. And so you might only have 3 things on the action step list, but you're doing it over and over and over again. So the action step is flexible that way. And then the kind of point that I also want to make today is words are really powerful. When you're doing the aspirational statement or your aspirational bullets, if you want to use the be, do, have, though, all those bullets, when you're picking out your goals, when you're figuring out your tasks and your action steps, you really want to be careful with the wording that you use. Depending on your belief structures, words bring things into creation, right? The things that you say to yourself, you hold in yourself. Your body doesn't know that you're being hard on yourself, or that you might be lying to yourself, or you might have a bad story that's ingrained. They don't understand between reality and non-reality. And when you say things or when you write them down, you are giving them vibration. You're giving them presence. You're giving them reality. You're bringing them into reality. And so you want to make sure that you use good additive words, right? So, instead of saying I'm doing a budget, I'm going to budget my finances. Instead of using the word budget, you might say, I'm going to build a spending plan, or I'm going to build a savings plan, or I'm going to, if you're like, you want to get yourself out of debt, you're going to build a debt, you don't want to say debt plan, but you want to say, you're setting up a payment plan. You want to use words that are positive and that bring you into a positive mindset, because it's not only when you initially write it down, it shows your attitude towards that thing or that action, but every time you look at it, it reminds you of what that attitude. So if you have a negative attitude towards money, then it's going to, if you use whatever the words you use are going to remind you every time you look at those words. If you have a negative attitude about your body, let's say you want to get into better health, you want to lose some weight, you say, I want to release the weight. And there's just certain ways of doing it. And I know that it might sound a little hokey, and I know a few of you are rolling your eyes at me, and that's fine. Roll away, but it really is important. The words you use are important, not only when you're communicating with other people, but also when you're communicating with yourself. So you are writing these things down. We're going through this process. You are thinking of things, and your initial words might be harsh. So you need to find other words. So you want to write those things down, and you want to use good words, and you want to use growth words, positive words, just like the care that you would use when you're talking to somebody else. You want to use words that they will receive it. If you have a criticism for someone, you want to express it in a way where they can receive it as productive. They can receive it in a loving and kind way and make use of it, and maybe inspire change and growth. And you want to do the same thing for yourself. You want to be as kind to yourself as you would be to the person that you love the most in this world. And you want to use loving and kind words so that you yourself can find inspiration, and you yourself can receive them in a constructive way. And that's how we also keep things rolling forward. So that was my little nugget for the day. If you have more questions about it, what I would like to do now, if you are in one of my accountability groups, go to your spreadsheet. I'm splicing out the spreadsheet so that instead of having, we started off with everything on one page, and now you're each going to get your own tab. So there's 8 to 10 of you in each group. So there'll be 8 to 10 tabs. Find your name, and so now we can start. I'm transferring over your aspirational statement. You've done your 3 goals. We've done the 3 tasks, and now you're going to be doing the action steps. And when you do write in the action step, you're going to see there's a column for the date. So I want you to put your action steps and the date you're going to complete it, as well as you're going to have your tasks. And I know it's 3 goals in 3 months, and each goal has 3 tasks. So there's 9 tasks, right? 3 times 3. And then the action steps below it. So I also want you to put a date on the tasks and when you want to complete them, because the idea is you want to structure it time-wise so that by the time we get to the end of March, January, February, March, the end of March, that you have achieved those 3 tasks, and you've achieved those 3 goals and those 9 tasks, so that in Q2 we can then move everything forward. Okay, so look for that. If you are having challenges getting on the portal, on your portal, then send me an email, Barbara at rockintheriverllc.com. There's a link somewhere around here that you can get to. And great. So this is Monday, the first Monday of the year. And I'm really happy that we're doing this journey together, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.